It was cold and snowing on the island of Sodor, but everyone was jolly. The Christmas season was coming. Donald and Douglas loved this time of the year. The station masters decorated the stations, and children were making snowmen. But what Donald and Douglas loved most about winter was that there was always lots and lots of snow. It piled up very quickly and blocked the tracks. So every morning, Donald and Douglas pull a special train up the main line to keep the tracks clear. Donald faced forward and pulled the train to Vickerstown, and Douglas faced backwards and pulled it back to Knapford. Thanks to the twins, everything ran on time. All the engines were very pleased. They wanted to thank Donald and Douglas for all their hard work. One day, when all the tracks were clear, Donald was looking forward to seeing his friends. He had missed them. As he puffed towards Dryaw, he saw Harold the helicopter talking to Toby. They were planning a thank you surprise for Donald and Douglas. "Hello," he chuffed.
"Remember Toby,"
whispered Harold.
"Don't tell Donald about the surprise."
Unfortunately, he wasn't quiet enough. Then Harold buzzed away, and Toby puffed back to his yard. Donald felt left out. He and Douglas liked surprises. Meanwhile, Douglas was puffing along the main line. He saw Percy waiting at Wellsworth Station. Percy's trucks were filled with brightly colored boxes. "What are those presents for?" asked Douglas. Percy was bursting to tell his friend about the surprise, but he raced away so that he wouldn't spoil it. Douglas was puzzled. Later, Donald and Douglas were stopped at a signal. They were telling each other about what they had each witnessed. As they waited, Emily arrived. Both twins noticed something strange on Emily's flatbed. It was long and pointy, but it was covered up. They recognized it as a tree. "Is that part of the surprise?" they asked. "That," said Emily, "is for me to know and you to find out." And she puffed away. "Bother," huffed Donald. "If they won't tell us, I'll find out myself." Donald secretly followed Emily. He puffed as quietly as he could, and he didn't follow too closely. Suddenly, Emily turned down one of the branch lines. Donald raced after her, but just as he got to the junction, the signalman changed the points. Donald had to go straight ahead. "Lost sakes," cried Donald. "How will I ever find out what the surprise is?" That evening, the engines were very excited. They were all talking about Donald and Douglas's surprise. "I can't wait," puffed Edward. "They'll love it," chuffed Percy. Then, Donald arrived. "Shh," muttered James. "Don't tell them," hissed Henry. Donald felt more left out than ever. It wasn't fair. Everyone knew what the surprise was except for Donald and Douglas. "Humph! If they won't tell us, I don't want to know," he huffed. Donald steamed crossly away. He puffed as far as he could. At last, it was time to show Donald and Douglas the surprise, but no one knew where Donald had gone. "Please find him, Harold," Douglas puffed. "I'll do my best," said Harold, and he took off into the air. Donald was parked in a siding. He was cold and sad. Why were he and Douglas the only ones not to know what the surprise was? If only they would tell them. Then Donald heard a noise. It was coming from the sky. It was Harold the helicopter. "There you are, old chap," he called. "It's time for you to collect the passengers and to see the surprise." "The passengers?" puffed Donald. "Yes," said Harold. "It's a special thank you for keeping the lines clear of snow." Donald was delighted. Finally, he was going to find out what the surprise was, so we weren't being left out. "Of course not," said Harold. "The passengers are waiting for you at Wellswood Station." Donald loved pulling passengers with his brother, so he raced away. Soon they arrived at Wellswood Station. Donald and Douglas collected the passengers. They puffed through the snowy countryside. The twins were very excited. They both wanted to know what the surprise was. Donald and Douglas turned down the branch line. Soon they arrived at the Scottish castle, and there was the twins' surprise. A huge Christmas tree was standing in the village square. Its lights shone and its bulbs twinkled, and at the bottom of the tree were lots of presents. But the best part? There were some Scottish pipers. "I haven't heard that noise since we left Scotland," said Douglas cheerfully. "Aye," agreed Donald. "It's the best surprise we've ever had." And the twins whistled happily to the sound of bagpipes and remembering the days of their old home.